Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blued, and if you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you're a college football and college basketball fan, because that's all we do here. Videos every single day. And don't forget to share these videos, because I guarantee you, if you like this content, other people will like this content as well. That's one of the best ways to grow this channel. And when you're done with this video, go check out our merchandise store. We have a bunch of stuff over there. We have sandals, we have hats, we have jackets, we have hoodies, we have t-shirts, we have beanies, we have mouse pads, we have stainless steel bottles, and we have coffee mugs. Pretty much anything you can think of. And if you're a Patreon member, you get a special discount from the merchandise, depending on what level of Patreon you are. I'll also leave the link of the merchandise store in the description of this video. Well, I've already done a video on what I thought the selection committee got wrong. Who was seated too high, who was seated too low, who shouldn't have been in, who shouldn't have been out. Now it's time to actually give you my picks for my brackets. I have created a group for Golden Blued in the ESPN Bracket Challenge. All you have to do is go to ESPN, go to the Bracket Challenge, search for Gold and Blue Dude in the groups, and all of us can go head to head, and we're gonna pick out a prize in the merchandise store for the winner of the Bracket Challenge in the Golden Blue Dude group. We're gonna start off in the West region. The 1 seed Gonzaga against the 16th seed Georgia State. Gonzaga's 26-3 and Georgia State 18-10. And we all know that a 16 seed has beaten a 1 seed, aka UMBC beat Virginia back in 2018. Well, that's not happening this year. I have the 1 seed moving on. Next up, the 8-9 matchup in the West region. Boise State the 8 seed, Memphis the 9 seed. Boise State 27-7, Memphis 21-10. Personally, I don't think Memphis deserves to be in the big dance. However, I think Boise State is coming off emotional wins. They did win the Mountain West Conference, so I think they're primed for a letdown. So I'm actually picking the 9 seed Memphis. Well, Golden Blued, doesn't that mean that Memphis does deserve to be in? Look, even teams that don't deserve to be in can pull an upset or two. So no, that's not what it means. Next up, the 5-12 matchup. It's going to be UConn, the 5 seed, against the 12 seed New Mexico State. UConn 23-9, New Mexico State 26-6, and I am picking the upset here. In fact, I think New Mexico State could make a deep run in the big dance. So I'm going with the Aggies in this matchup. Next up, the 4-13 matchup. Arkansas, Vermont. Arkansas 25-8, Vermont 28-5. I think Arkansas is going to be way too much. I don't think this is going to be even close. I have Arkansas moving on to the second round. Next, we have the 6 seed Alabama gonna play the winner of the 11 seed Notre Dame or the 11 seed Rutgers. Notre Dame 23-10, Rutgers 18-13. Alabama kind of limping into the big dance at 19-13. And I do think the winner of Notre Dame Rutgers, and I have Notre Dame beating Rutgers, will beat Alabama, moving on to the round of 32. Next up, the 3-14 matchup. 3 seed Texas Tech 25-9 against the 14 seed Montana State 27-7. I think Montana State could scare Texas Tech, but overall I think Texas Tech will roll through this on to the round of 32. The 7-10 matchup, the 7 seed Michigan State against the 10 seed Davidson. Michigan State 22-12, Davidson 27-6. With Michigan State, you never know which team you're going to get. I think they're a tad overseeded, and I think they have a bad matchup here with Davidson. Davidson has some excellent shooters, and I don't think Michigan State can match up with that. So I actually have Davidson moving on to the round of 32. Next up, the 2 seed against the 15 seed Duke against Cal State Fullerton. Duke is 28-6, Cal State Fullerton 21-10. I have Duke cruising to the round of 32 on this one. Now it's time to talk about the round of 32. Who's going to move on to the Sweet 16? We have the 1 seed Gonzaga against the 9 seed Memphis. I think this is a mismatch for Memphis. I think Gonzaga will be all over Memphis. Memphis will be taking an early exit courtesy of Gonzaga. I have Gonzaga moving on to Sweet 16. Next up, the 12 seed New Mexico State against the 4 seed Arkansas. I'm going to reiterate, I think New Mexico State is underseeded and are capable of making a deep run. So yes, I do have the Aggies beating Arkansas on to the Sweet 16. Next up, the 11 seed Notre Dame taking on the 3 seed Texas Tech. Notre Dame might be able to put up a fight, but it's not going to be a big enough fight. Therefore, I have the 3 seed Texas Tech moving on to the Sweet 16. Now time for the 10-2 matchup, Davidson against Duke. And yes, Davidson has some really good shooters, but so does Duke. I think Duke has the better athletes, and I think Duke has the better coach, and I think Duke moves on to the Sweet 16. The West Region Sweet 16 matchups, the 1 seed Gonzaga against the 12 seed New Mexico State. And yes, I am sticking with New Mexico State. Look, New Mexico State has some great wins in the regular season. They are more than capable of beating Gonzaga. I think this is where the road ends for Gonzaga, and I have New Mexico State moving on to the Elite 8. The other matchup in the Sweet 16, the 3 seed Texas Tech playing the 2 seed Duke. This is going to be a great game. A clash of styles. Texas Tech is going to be more defensive-minded. Duke will have more of an offensive mindset, but I think this is where Coach K coaches his final game. I have the 3 seed Texas Tech Red Raiders moving on to the Elite 8. So my Elite 8 matchup for the West region will be the 12 seed New Mexico State against the 3 seed Texas Tech. Unfortunately, this is where I have the Cinderella story ending for New Mexico State, and I have the 3 seed Texas Tech Red Raiders moving on to the Final Four. But this would still be a magnificent run for the New Mexico State Aggies, but I do think they're more than capable of getting to the Elite 8 and possibly even further. I've been talking about New Mexico State. I think they're a Final Four sleeper. I just think by the time they get to the Elite 8, they're going to be kind of worn down. Texas Tech will kind of wear them out with their defense, and it'll just be a tough matchup for New Mexico State. But they're also more than capable of beating Texas Tech. So this is how I have the West region playing out. I'm sure y'all disagree with a lot of what I just said. So let me know in the comment section who you have coming out of the West region. Where did I get it right, and where did I get it wrong? I'll make more videos for the East region, for the South region, and for the Midwest region. And you'll see all of my Final Four picks, including my national champion. Of course, I'm going to respect your opinion, but I will give you my opinion on your opinion. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.